The Denver Nuggets just beat the LA Clippers in a 7-game series, despite them having the unquestioned best player in the world, Nikola Jokić. This has pretty much been the theme of the season with Denver. Yes, they're winning and still solidifying themselves as one of the NBA's best teams, but their struggles to win and sometimes even produce as a unit is too close for comfort. The fact that they have a center who averaged 30, 13, and 10 this season, and they still took 7 games to beat a 5th seed team is kind of alarming. Now, of course, the Clippers were not at full strength, going more than half the season without their star, Kawhi Leonard, but still, the Nuggets have beat much better teams in much fewer games in the past. Just ask the Heat, who they beat in 5 in the NBA Finals 2 years ago, or the Lakers, who they swept that same year. But getting back to the regular season, which is what the award is allegedly based on, this season, Nikola Jokić did something that has never been done before and probably won't be done again. He was not only the only center ever to average 10 assists, he was the only center ever to average a triple-double. He finished top 5 in total points, rebounds, assists, and steals. He's also the only player ever to do that. Honestly, if it were up to me, I wouldn't give a damn if his team was the 7th seed in the West. This is the league's MVP. However, I guarantee you, Jokić is not getting the award this year. I want to be wrong about this, but this is the NBA, the land of bullshit criteria. I'm not at all downplaying SGA either, as he would probably be earning his 2nd MVP this year instead of his 1st in a world that Joker does not exist. But I'm just giving credit where credit is due. Jokic's previous MVP numbers are damn near a major downgrade from this year's numbers. Again, Shea checked every box he possibly can for an MVP candidate. He averaged 33, 5, and 6 this season. He shot 52% from the field, which is nearly unheard of for a guard. He shot a respectable 37.5% from 3. He shot 90% from the line. He collected the 2nd most steals. He averaged 1 block. And he had the 2nd best defensive rating in the entire NBA, only being 0.2 tenths behind number 1 at that. Add all of this to the fact that his team is not just the number 1 team in the West, they're the number 1 team in the league, as they finished with a franchise best record of 68-14. Again, if you feel Shea should finally get his MVP award that he's done everything right this year to get, I cannot keep feeling that way. But for me, Jokić has had far too much of a historical season to give it to anybody but him. For most of the season, the NBA has leaned towards Shea as their MVP. Without getting too deep into the NBA criteria, because I don't even think they know what it is half the time, the most important factors are winning, stats, and overall impact or dominance, which kind of go hand in hand. To keep it simple, while Shea clears Jokić and everyone else in winning, Jokić clears Shea and everyone else in stats. Jokić also clears everyone else in dominance, considering he's obviously much more productive and tougher to stop than Shea. Now, of course, Giannis is in that conversation, but Giannis even was not producing at the level that Jokić was. That being said, Jokić is clearly tougher to stop than Shea. He's much more productive. And believe it or not, he's made a bigger impact as well. If you think that last part is a stretch, because Shea won almost 70 games, you have to look at Shea's team and how perfectly they were put together. They have Jalen Williams, 2025 All-Star, best rated NBA player defensively, and someone who will definitely make an all-defensive team as soon as the lists are announced. Solely on accolades alone, J-Dub is already better than anyone Jokić has ever played with in his career. As 10 years in, he still has never had an all-star, all-NBA, or all-defensive teammate. J-Dub will potentially do all three this season. Next, Shai has Chet, who has missed more than half the season, but in the 32 games he did play, he put up 15 a game, was a floor-stretching big, and solid rebounder, but most of all, he was one of the league's best rim protectors, averaging 2 blocks per game. So the Thunder not only had their 2 premier defenders around the perimeter, they also had one of the best rim protectors, albeit for a short time, but it's still clearly attributed to their success. On top of this scoring and defending trio, they have Isaiah Hartenstein, who averaged a double-double, and is another rim protector, and they have other 3-and-D players such as Alex Caruso and Lou Dort. So again, this team is very well put together. The Nuggets, on the other hand, have more cones than a damn construction site. Jokić is targeted by guards and bigs attacking the paint, and Jamal Murray, Chris Brown, and Michael Porter Jr. are all a part of the top 25 worst defensively rated players this season. While offensively, the Nuggets are easily a top 5 team in the league, defensively, they're a bottom 5 team, as they got the 5th most points scored on them by opposing teams. Shai's advantage in his team's defensive superiority is equal to Joker's disadvantage in his team's defensive lacks. The 4th seeded Nuggets looked like a lottery team in the 12 games they played without Joker, as they went 4-8, a record that is not 500, but .500. The Thunder, on the other hand, went 5-1 in the 6 games they played without SGA. Again, not sure if I mentioned this, but this team was perfectly put together. If you see that a really good player is thriving with a really good team in SGA and the Thunder, then that's pretty much the norm. But when you consider that a really good player is thriving with a really bad team in Jokić and the Nuggets, then Jokić is making the bigger impact on his team, in my opinion. Now, I am, again, 99.9% sure that SGA is the NBA's 2025 MVP due to the criteria for the award. If they do somehow give it to the real MVP this season, Nikola Jokić, then they got it right. But they'd be going against their own criteria. So that wraps up this video. I thank you for listening to the very end. Let me know what you think about this. Do you believe Jokić deserves it or Shai? And who do you think will win the award? Make sure you're being notified, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for more episodes. This is Jay the Bass, and I'm out.